let's go ahead and get started. Today is Tuesday, so you know that we are going to be reviewing our class DoJo series. Last week, we were with Mojo as he learned about empathy. So remember, last week, he was the director of a play, and Katie was forgetting her lines. Mojo was worried about being embarrassed as the director of the play because people weren't ready, so he yelled at his friend Katie. Katie did not feel very well, but Mojo wasn't even aware of that because he was so focused on himself that he wasn't able to think about how someone else was feeling. So we are going to today take a look to see if Mojo learns to fix that, if he learns how to think about the way that someone else is feeling. So we'll watch this, and then like usual, we will go into some breakout rooms to discuss. So be ready to discuss the events of this cartoon series. Here we go.
Chapter 2. Mojo discovers the maze. Last time, while Mojo was directing his play, a certain emotion came over him, and before he knew what happened, his cast had walked off set. Bruce promised Mojo that the answer to save the play lay in a mysterious room at school. I really think we should get back to the auditorium, said Mojo.
Sincere apologies, chaps,
said Christoph.
That blasted electricity again. Anyhow, shall we carry on with our pledge?
The group spoke together. We are monsters, and to be better monsters, we must better understand each other. Sorry to interrupt, said Mojo, but what is this place? We are Mum, said Jenna.
That's Monsters for Understanding Monsters, said Jamie. We think one day everyone in our school will get along.
Through spreading awareness that our actions can impact how others feel, said Jenna. Impacting how others feel. That's an interesting idea, thought Mojo.
So, what are you doing here? Said Danny.
Guys, you know Green Man, said Bruce. He's directing the school play, but he needs your help.
All right, Mojo,
said Christoph.
Do tell us what's going on then.
Well, I don't know, said Mojo. It's my first time directing. I need everyone to work harder, or the play will be a total failure.
First time directing, you say? I suspect that would be rather stressful.
Yeah, I guess it is a little, said Mojo.
Interesting,
said Christoph.
You know, being worried about failing can be a powerful feeling.
Oh no, said Danny. The maze. What's the maze? Said Mojo. The maze, said Jenna, happens when we become trapped in a powerful emotion. Once in the maze, we are blocked from seeing how others around us are feeling.
They say, in the maze,
said Jamie,
we can be mean to our friends without even realizing we're doing it.
Mojo began to realize he had experienced a powerful emotion. He had become trapped in the horrible feeling that the play would not be a success. And worse, he hadn't realized how it had made him treat his own friends. He had been in the maze. How have I let myself get trapped in the maze? You don't need to worry, Mojo, said Jenna. Everyone experiences these emotions.
And lucky for you, kid, said Danny. There's a way to keep you out of the maze.
How do you think Mojo might stay out of the maze next time? Now that's an interesting question indeed.
All right, so So Mojo has been trapped without being able to be aware of how his actions have made others feel. But we're going to talk about what that phrase means. What does the phrase, we can impact how others feel, mean? What does that mean? We can impact how others feel. You're going to go into some breakout rooms to discuss this, and then you will, interesting, and then you will be coming back to share what your group discussed. So what does the phrase, we can impact the way others feel, mean? Okay, I'm going to create those rooms and send you the invites now. And there you are. Continue on. We have been discussing what does it mean that your emotions impact the way others feel? What does it mean that you can impact the way others feel? What does that phrase mean? Kim, what does it mean that our emotions can impact the way others feel?
Like Mojo, he saw her and he was like starting to get frustrated, and then his feelings when hurt her feelings.
Yeah, so his frustration hurt her feelings because the way that he chose to respond affected Katie as well. Good. What more can we add that you have the power to impact the way others feel? Justin, what are your thoughts?
I didn't have any. I didn't know what it meant.
Okay, so have you ever been in a situation where someone else's actions made you feel a certain way? Did someone do something to you? Like maybe you were having a bad day and then someone did something and you were like, oh, wow, that made my day better. Or even vice versa. Maybe you were having a good day and someone was rude in some way and it made your day bad.
I don't think so.
Wow, you are very lucky. Well, that's awesome. Well, I hope that you can, even though it hasn't happened to you, take those moments and impact other people's days and recognize when they're having a rough day and help them out. All righty. We are going to continue on with another question. So here is our second question to discuss. What is the maze? And what happens when we are in the maze? So remember, it showed Mojo kind of looking trapped in this area. And it's not like a real area that you would travel to, but it's kind of something that happens in your brain. What is the maze? And what happens when we are in the maze? So what is the maze? And what happens when we are in it? I'm getting ready to send you those invites. Be ready to discuss when you come back. So you should have been discussing what is the maze. Let's focus on that question first. What is the maze? Okay, so when we see the maze, what is that? Remember, it's not a real place that we go. It's not like a corn maze, but it's a place that's in our heads. What is it? What happens there? Aiden G, what is the maze?
The maze is like your brain.
And what happens there? Like what specifically
So
goes on
all
there?
your emotions, they get trapped inside of the maze.
Yeah, it's kind of where emotions get trapped. And Aiden, is it usually a positive place or
A
a negative
negative
place?
place.
Yeah, so it's when we have really strong negative emotions, something happens inside of our brain. Chris, something to add? Go ahead, Chris. We can hear you.
In your maze, you're gonna feel like you just sad.
Yeah, the maze can be a place where we feel sad. The maze in our head is where we have walls that are so tall, our emotions are so strong that we're not able to see others around us. So the maze is usually a very lonely place as well. It's where we feel trapped. And even though I want to see, to ask, hey, how are you doing? I can't, because those walls are blocking me. So I feel so trapped by those powerful emotions. The second part of that question was, what happens when we're in the maze? How do we usually behave when we're in the maze? Do we usually make good choices, not so great choices? How do we behave when we're in the maze? Leah, what are your thoughts?
So, you can't really feel any emotions. Only feel sad because you can't see any friends.
And how does that make us behave?
Sad, and it'll make you feel like, since you made them mean, you got yourself stuck in the maze.
Yeah, so it can make us feel sad and act mean. I like that you said you got yourself stuck there, because it is a choice to stay there. It's not a choice to be put there. Sometimes we don't have a lot of control over the fact that we're in this really negative situation, but it is a choice to stay there in our heads and to keep thinking about it over and over instead of changing our mindset. Thank you, Miss Leah. Last question that you were going to discuss. Share about a time when you've been in the maze. What emotions did you feel? Share about a time when you've been in the maze. What emotions did you feel? I'd be happy to share to kind of give you an example. So last year, I was in college, teaching full-time, and about to have my first child. So I was very pregnant as well. So 3 big, huge things were going on in my life. Because I was working so much and all the time working, I didn't give myself time to relax. So I was very rude to my husband, and I was very rude to my other family because I wasn't able to see that I wasn't being kind. I was so focused on, I got to get this work done. I got to get this work done. I got to get this work done, that I didn't even think to ask about how other people were feeling. So that's when I've been in the maze. I was so stressed out with all of my work that I completely forgot to check in and be kind to my family that I live with and my family that I was raised with. So that's a time that I was in the maze. My stress made me so focused on my work that I completely forgot to be kind to people. So that's my experience. You're going to go share about a time that you were in the maze. So when was a time that you experienced a very powerful emotion and it made you act rude or mean to someone? Maybe your siblings, maybe an adult at home, maybe another classmate. When was a time that you experienced such a powerful emotion that you were rude to someone? Okay, go ahead and share. I got to be a part of a impromptu breakout room because there weren't enough people assigned. So I got to hear some stories of times that people were in the maze. And I want to remind us that there's nothing to be ashamed of. You do not need to be ashamed of the fact that you have been in the maze before. It happens to everyone. Everybody is going to have a very powerful emotion that causes them to behave in a way. The trick is working to get yourself out of that place. So you don't want to start using it as an excuse where you say, well, I can act this way because I'm really stressed. When my husband told me, hey, you're kind of acting a little bit rude, I had to make a choice of, okay, I need to change this, or so what, I'm stressed, I can do that. And that wouldn't have been okay, right? So you're going to have situations where you're in that maze. The important thing is recognizing it so you can start to get your way out of it, okay? So I want you to be actively thinking about that this week as you practice recognizing the emotions of others. Also focus on recognizing the emotions that you're experiencing to see if there's something that can help you get out of the maze or a powerful negative emotion, okay? All right.